Hello, my friend. Welcome to the study. Look what I have for you on this sunny autumn morning. It's the David Austin 2022 Handbook of Roses Special 60th edition. So I thought that we could look through this together and see all of the beautiful varieties of these famous roses. We also have a planting guide. So there will be lots of nice turning pages and paper sounds. But I think that this also calls for some tea. So we'll use this pink floral avian set. We've got a couple of birds here. What looks like perhaps a starling and a peacock. Some peonies, irises, or perhaps magnolias, and some beautiful pink and blue ones there. And there's our cup with the peacock. It's been a while since we've used this set. And for tea, I've picked this white rose tea. You can see the leaves and the rose petals. And I think that will be nice for our David Austin Rose Catalogue. So make yourself comfortable, and I'll go put some hot water to brew our white rose tea. And you can have a walk around the rose garden, see how many colors you can find. Do you see that beautiful green tea leaves and rose petals in there? And it's been backlit by the sun coming through the window this morning. And the little droplets of condensation on the teapot, and it smells beautiful. The tea leaves and floral there. Look at that beautiful colour. It's pinky gold. Let's pour some. There. Beautiful rosy tea. So we can look at our David Austin catalogue. There we have one of those scanning codes, so you can shop online. And it says, from growing in our fields to growing in your garden, we do our best to breed, select, and deliver the very best roses for you to enjoy. And we see that David Austin is a member of World Land Trust, the website there. It says, as a part of our commitment towards sustainability and protecting the environment, our little green book has become even greener. The carbon impact of the paper in this handbook of roses has been offset by the global conservation charity World Land Trust. The charity protects threatened habitats and regenerates degraded habitats, which gradually reabsorb atmospheric carbon dioxide. And this handbook is printed on paper from responsible sources using vegetable-based inks. See how much we can accomplish when we put our minds to it. We just do a little bit, every little bit, just a little bit, to show that you respect the world and the other people in it. Look at these beautiful climbing roses. If I can move the book there, I'll have to move our rose tea a little bit. There. This is the English climbing rose, Wollerton Old Hall, and the Pilgrim. These are against a garden wall in Albrighton, Shropshire. Welcome to a world of roses as we enter a fresh new season with its promise of good things to come. It is my privilege to welcome you to our celebratory 60th edition of the David Austin Handbook of Roses 2022. This year marks a significant milestone in our story and our groundbreaking journey to create an ever more beautiful rose. The last 6 decades have seen extraordinary change across every aspect of life that we have all been swept along with. As business, we have continued to embrace change, adjusting to the ever-evolving landscape and introducing new ways of working. We adapt with optimism, staying true to our pioneering spirit and steadfast vision to bring English roses to the world. This was printed just after the Queen's Jubilee this year, the Diamond Jubilee, and was sent out obviously without knowing what was to happen, that she would pass away at the end of August, the beginning of September. And it's quite poignant to read the next paragraph, as it says, "It can be difficult to hold on to a constant amongst so much transformation, yet there is one that remains, nature, reliable and reassuring, yet wholly uncontrollable. Her seasons return year after year, bringing their own challenges and rewards." And that, I think, is so nice, because when we look at the natural world, we can more readily understand our place in it and how we have to live in harmony with it. The seasons are a reminder of our innate and eternal dependency on nature, our enduring need for outdoor spaces, for sunlight, and our desire for roses. As styles and tastes change, so too does our need to evolve our outdoor spaces, to refresh, replenish, and fill them with the abundance of color, scent, and the joy. I think that can be said for almost any plant or animal that people keep. We like to take care of things and see them flourish, and they give us so much joy. This year, we feel privileged to introduce 2 wonderful new varieties to our collection. Elizabeth, Os Majesty, named in honor of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest-serving monarch, and Bring Me Sunshine, which pays homage to the great comedy duo Morecambe and Wise. These new roses represent the ability to lift the spirits and bring joy, all with a reassuring sense of dependability in this changing world. Starting life amongst 15,000 new seedlings in 2011, each of these new introductions is equal parts tradition and innovation. From the hand-breeding techniques used in the earliest days, coupled with decades of passed-on learning and expertise, to use the latest sustainable technologies and the inherent innovation and experimentation required to create something new, every David Austin English rose is a masterpiece of human ingenuity and nature's work. It is true to say that to enjoy the rose one must brave the thorns, and our endeavors over the past 60 years have not been without their challenges. World events, as well as difficult and testing times, have certainly made their presence felt. We look forward to what the summer holds, from the promise of sunshine and new blooms to the celebrations surrounding Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. We are proud that our collection of roses continues to be inspired by royalty and are honoured to welcome Elizabeth Os Majesty to the fold. We would like to thank all of our customers and rose enthusiasts worldwide for sharing our passion. Seeing you delight in our creations fuels our fervor, enriching us with the inspiration to move forward on our privileged journey. In this special 60th edition handbook, we invite you to sit a while and take the time to lose yourself in an enchanting world of roses, as we open our doors to the people, plants, and places that make David Austin Roses the wonderfully eccentric home of the English rose. We wish you the very best for the seasons ahead. David J.C. Austin. And there's another scanning code there. Look at that. A view through through the trees, always reinventing a classic. The late Mr. Austen had the idea to create a stilted hornbeam hedge with twisted and intertwined growth, which private guests have commented on as being highly unusual. Maintained by our head gardener, Steve, it was first trained and pruned using a wire frame, and in the latter years by eye. Mr. Austen's roses can also be viewed in between the hedge's structure, which allows more light to shine through to help the roses grow. There's some beautiful pink roses and more rose beds. This hedge there. Look how deep green and cool that is. There's a greenhouse. And more about the David Austen story, this being their 60th year. Our story begins with a man who had a single vision to bring beautiful, repeat flowering, fragrant roses to gardens everywhere. And with the launch of One Rose in 1961, Constance Spry was the first original English rose, a pioneering and magnificent climbing rose of cupped pink blooms and an enchanting myrrh fragrance. I can imagine that in the 50s and 60s, putting beauty back in gardens after the lean war years, where so many ornamental gardens were destroyed or completely demolished in favor of victory gardens. It was nice to begin to concentrate on beauty and surround oneself with all of these lovely things in the garden, things that inspire us to nurture, to care, and to be more forgiving, more patient, more kind. And there's the garden of roses at the nursery with the nursery manager. And there we have some of the first David Austen varieties. The Munstead wood, very deep, dusty red. Each one seems to have a character all its own, and I imagine their scents are absolutely lovely. This one's Pat Austen, Squire, Chianti, Gertrude Jekyll, Mary Rose. I bet that one was for when they raised the Mary Rose, Henry VIII's ship. That was a very big endeavor to archaeologically excavate that ship from the bottom of the Solent, raise it up on a giant floating dry dock, and over 20 to 30 years preserve it so that it is now open to visitors in its own museum. And there's the Mary Rose to commemorate that one. And our present King Charles III, then Prince of Wales, was a big supporter of the project to raise this marvelous ship, which gives us so much information about the Tudor Navy. And here we have, what is this one? The Wife of Bath. So I think this is from Chaucer. And Constance Spry, This one just called Heritage. Beautiful colors. Look at that, going from red, deep reds and pinks to soft pinks, peaches and yellows. And this one, Chaucer. Apropos, Leander. We're going into Shakespeare now. A Shropshire lad. A Shropshire lass. It's a lovely old-fashioned rose there. Graham Thomas. Oh, look at this one. Guess what that one is? It's called Lady Emma Hamilton. Oh my. It's yellowy orange and peachy, going to a mauve pink on the outer petals. Beautiful. And this yellow multiflora one is Charles Darwin. Lady Emma Hamilton has her own rose. How marvelous. Look at the little babies, the seedlings, and the towers of bare root roses. How amazing. And in the greenhouse, Carl Bennett, the rose breeder, says, I like to be creative and do something worthwhile. When I see what we have created, something that has taken over 10 years to make, released and sold all over the world, it fills me with joy. It's quite something. That must be quite a feeling to create something that thousands, perhaps millions of people all over the world enjoy. Something that lives on after you're gone. Look at all of these photographs of all of the people involved in the 60 years that this company has been in business. We've got images from all walks of life here, all different activities, people together enjoying themselves, people in the garden, people dressed up, people digging with dirt on their knees. I love to see pictures of people together being happy. Chelsea Flower Show, Golden Girls, Growing Up with Roses, Christmas parties. Someone else writing about their years of experience, and look at that, what's in the greenhouse. A peacock has made his way in there. And this is David C.J. Austin looking at the roses. And about the history. There's something about the home of David Austin roses that is effortlessly enchanting. Hidden in the Shropshire countryside, it is the epitome of Englishness, a little haven of busy gardeners, growers, people, and plants going about their daily tasks without fuss or applaud. Almost sounds like Hobbiton. Let's pause here for some more tea. It's such a beautiful rosy bouquet. Smells like the roses we're looking at in the catalogue. Look at that beautiful color. So pretty. There. The gardener in the winter with his beanie. And more photographs of David Austin throughout the years. Must be wonderful to be in the countryside every day and be creating with like-minded people year after year, watching your wonderful creations be appreciated. And here we have vintage English roses. We saw some of these from the other page. 1960s, 80s, 90s, and noughties. Get all of the colors and how they have these beautiful patterns as their petals open up. It's very beautiful. The Shropshire Lass is quite lovely. It's such a simple little unassuming rose and climbs up the fence. And then we have this one, Gertrude Jekyll. Look at that sort of trefoil pattern there of the petals. And the pilgrim. Look how beautiful that is. It just opens up into a big cushion. Goes from bright yellow sun to a sort of a pale yellow-white, creamy colour. Malvern Hill. Some more Lady of Shalott, Darcy Bustle, and Princess Anne. Look at that pink one. This one is one of my favorites, the Emily Bronte. Sort of sunny yellow in the middle, sort of peachy, goes out to pink, very pale, feminine pink, and very creamy whitey pink. At the end, very, very cushiony, fluffy sort of rose. Look at this beautiful yellow one there. And Desdemona. Oh, it's lovely, fluffy white one. Introduced in 2015, Desdemona is arguably one of the most timeless varieties in the David Austin collection. This shrub rose begins to bloom with perfect peachy pink buds, which open to crisp white, chalice-shaped blooms. There's an old rose fragrance with hints of almond, cucumber, and lemon zest. The purity of this rose makes it a modern classic. And here's another one with these little patterns, the Olivia Rose Austin. Olivia, as she is fondly known, makes the ultimate easy care rose, ideal for anyone starting out on their English rose journey. An all-rounder, she flowers profusely and consistently almost until Christmas, and will delight with her perfect pink blooms and medium fruity fragrance. Gertrude Jekyll. This climbing rose, photographed here in private gardens in Wiltshire. You can see what looks to be Cotswold stone there. This is a shrub rose. Very beautiful pink, profuse pink blossoms. And now we have all the pink ones. Pink is a master of adaptability. Simply by planting with different combinations of pink roses, you can create a myriad of styles. Create soft, sugary pathways flanked by delicate blossom pinks. Plant a fruity border with fuchsia and orange, or take a more regal approach to pink by combining rich magentas and red-pink jewel tones. We've got different light happening because the clouds keep passing by the window in the sky. Summer fruit punch. We have yellowy, orangey, peachy, pinky. Look at that. Does remind you of a fruit punch. And there's a little color pattern there. And these ones are Lady of Shalott, Port Sunlight, Grace, Elizabeth, Emily Bronte, Eustacia Vi, the Mayflower, Boscobel, and Princess Alexandra of Kent. It's got watermelon pink, splash of apricot, and tangerine orange. It's beautiful when you combine them, isn't it? Lovely palette. Roses with delicious fruity fragrances. The Country Parson. It says it has hints of apricot. Gabriel Rose. Strong fruity fragrance. Emily Bronte is fragrance. Old tea, it says strong tea or old rose fragrance with hints of lemon and grapefruit. So tea rose rather than drinking tea. And here we have a fruity fragrance with these ones. This one has hints of lemon. And this one, the Royal Jubilee Black Currant. That one almost looks like a peony with its giant petals. And Silas Marner, I think I mispronounced that before. Silas Marner. Unfussy and dependable, a relaxed mid-pink rose with handsome red stems. How to use him. Happy to sit in an unfussy cottage-style mixed bed or border. He is very healthy and reliable, providing good coverage with wide arching growth. A lovely rose for adding color and blooms without formality. He will tolerate shadier spots without complaint. Plant with brighter pinks or purples to accentuate the deeper pinks found in the layers of petals. Well, I like how they almost personify their roses. It really makes you engage with them, doesn't it? Now we have Pink Pathways, some roses we've seen, and the Harlow Car, and Sweet and Sugary, Wisely, Silas Marner, and Gentle Hermione. Lovely, soft pink. That. Oh, beautiful. I can just smell this. There's lavender here. And all of these different roses. Planning a drifting mixed border. So we've got Princess Alexandra of Kent. The unusually large, bright pink flowers are full-petaled and deeply cupped. In spite of their size, they're never clumsy, being held nicely poised on a well-rounded shrub. There is strong and delicious fresh tea fragrance, which changes to lemon, eventually taking on hints of black currant. Named for Princess Alexandra, a keen gardener, president of the Alexandra Rose Charity, and cousin of Queen Elizabeth II. Pick and mix pinks. Oh, I like pick and mix. Do you like pick and mix? And here we'll have scents and roses rather than lollies and candies. And this one's the Queen of Sweden. Formal yet delightful, she is named to commemorate the 350th anniversary of the Treaty of Friendship and Commerce between Queen Christine of Sweden and Oliver Cromwell of England in 1654. Small and upright, she is a delight for smaller spaces. Her pale color combines well with silver-toned foliage or purple companion plants, probably like lavender or salvia, which when planted low in front of her will make her pretty pink blooms shine. They are beautiful, aren't they? She is shade-tolerant, and her neat, upright form makes her ideal for a planting as a hedge, where she will work well to create a natural boundary. And here we have all the pinks from very pale, candy floss, to bubblegum, to strawberry laces, the yummy pick and mix. Wild Eve, Scarborough Fair, Gentle Hermione, Olivia Rose Austen, The Ancient Mariner. Do you know that poem? The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I think we might have read it once in the study. Harlow Carr, Gertrude Jekyll, Princess Alexandra of Kent, and this one called England's Rose. And here we have roses with royal connections. Sceptred Isle, Princess Anne, Elizabeth, William and Catherine, Princess Alexandra of Kent, Queen of Sweden, and England's Rose. This one is the Royal Jubilee. Very fluffy. And there's a little garden house, a summer house with some lemonade set out and all of the potted roses in full bloom with some bunting. Looks like it's set up for the Jubilee. And this is the 2022 rose, Elizabeth. She bears a blossom-like quality to her appearance in the way her large blooms are held in clusters of plentiful flat rosettes, which gently change from crisp apple blossom pink to the gentlest blush white. Her pretty blooms feature a neat button eye at the center, embellished with a touch of golden apricot. Her fragrance is strong and sweet, yet delightfully refreshing, with hints of lemon sherbet and old rose. In honor of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and with the approval of the royal household, we are delighted to welcome Elizabeth to our collection. Interesting description here. Joining our family of royalty-inspired varieties, Elizabeth is an exceptional and striking rose, displaying a generosity, continuity, and presence befitting the character of her namesake, Britain's longest reigning monarch, Her Majesty the Queen. Her mantle of blooms is beautifully showcased against her dark green textured foliage, creating a regal presence when planted in quantity in a mixed bed, border, or hedge. Happy in a pot, container, or equally shady spot, her plentiful flat rosettes will draw bees and insects in search of easy access pollen. A dependable rose with exceptional health and versatility of habit. Pruned well, she will form a shapely shrub. Named in recognition of Her Majesty's steadfast sense of duty and devotion, Elizabeth pays tribute to a life of service and dedication in her role as head of the 15 Commonwealth realms and as Britain's sovereign for 70 years. It has been and continues to be a privilege to provide roses for many royal gardens and households over the years, including Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and Highgrove, to name a few. And now we have royal rubies, so jewels, the inspiration from sparkling crown jewels and gemstones, with their alluring deep pink ruby reds, violet purple shades of amethyst, and the scarlet tones of garnet. Very impressive blooms there. So we have Sir John Betjeman, whom you might remember wrote some poems that we read when we were talking about the White Horse at Uffington. And James Austen, England's Rose, Young Lycidas, Tuscany Superb, and this one's Fashionblau. It sounds very German. Darcy Bustle, And this one's Thomas Becket and the Rambling Rose. And here, spotlight on the Gabriel Oak, named after the beloved character of Thomas Hardy's fated novel, Far from the Madding Crowd. Look at these ones growing along a chain there in Shropshire. Chains of blooms. This is the Crimson Shower Rambling Rose, a medium-sized rambler growing up to 15 feet and bearing small crimson red rosette-shaped flowers. This one is that funny one. It's called the Veilchenblau, or Little Blue Violet. I'm not sure that's German. It might be some other Germanic language. We'll have to read and find out. From pale lilac to periwinkle blue, purple shades always make for an alluring combination with roses. And this one, an almost thornless, once flowering rambler, producing clusters of small magenta-cupped flowers with white centers and bright yellow stamens. Fading to lilac, almost blue, they have a medium-strong fruity scent with notes of orange. It almost doesn't look like a rose, does it? It's a very funny one. Very funny indeed. And here we have the Septidile next to the lavender. And tottering by gently, this one's called Kew Gardens there, and Roald Dahl, whom I'll not mention again. Here, Ancient Mariner, look at that. And Olivia Rose Austen. Maybe that one. All of these roses viewed here. Eustacia and Septidile. So, container gardening. Container roses. Look at that, putting the bare root rose into a container. And this one is the Princess Anne. What roses are best for pots? Here we've got al fresco style. Bring home a touch of the Mediterranean by placing containers of roses near to your outdoor seating areas. This is Boscobel, warm and pleasing, upward-facing blooms of a lovely coral pink, medium, strong, myrrh fragrance with hints of hawthorn, elderflower, pear, and almond. That sounds lovely. And here we have Kew Gardens, Ancient Mariner again, Lady of Shalott, Roald Dahl, Emily Bronte, Princess Anne, Eustacia Vi, Vanessa Bell, and Desdemona. Rooftop roses, some more planters. This one is the James Austen, named for the son of David Austen Sr. and the brother of David Austen Jr. Desdemona, a real beauty. Her white blooms are slightly flushed, almost as if caught blushing. Her incurved petals form a chalice-shaped bloom, which isn't too lightly packed. This creates a soft, rounded shape where the petals have room to add depth to their white coloring, using the interplay of light and shadow. She's aptly named after the classic Venetian beauty from Shakespeare's timeless play Othello. Faithful, full of innocence, and passionately in love, she's often portrayed dressed in romantic white. Her fragrance is sweet and fresh as her blooms. Strong and old rose in nature, it has delicate hints of almond blossom, cucumber, and lemon zest. There's something simply refreshing about her. And this is Gardener's View City Garden Roses. And the roses here are interspersed in a kitchen garden there. A garden in Hackney. And here we have kitchen gardens with roses. I think roses, obviously, something nice to have in your kitchen garden. Let's pour some more tea. As the clouds come over and the light dims in our window, the tea looks darker now. And you can hear the cup on the saucer. There we go. And the little bubbles. And the lovely scent of roses. Look at these kitchen courtyards. Aren't they lovely? On this, look at that, layers of white. And this house, this garden is photographed in Somerset, so possibly near Bath. Remember, we've been there too. All of these places we've been in the study together. When planting an outdoor space, it is important to step back and consider the whole view. Layering a white rambling rose behind a border of white shrub roses will add depth and interest both up close and from afar. I think some of these roses that are white are beautiful as well because they have hints of pinks and yellows in them. There's more white. There's Susan Williams Ellis. Kew Gardens. Tranquility. Could almost be named after that sea on the moon. Desdemona and Litchfield Angel. It's a very interesting garden. We have old style house with very modern garden furniture. Sort of contemporary simplicity, it says. And there's Desdemona adorning the side. Sunshine shades. Look at that palette. This is lovely. I just love how the yellow goes to orangey pink. And these are Port Sunlight. I'd really like to know the story behind that one. Grace. Bring Me Sunshine. Roald Dahl again. The Crazy Man. Nye Bevan. Charles Darwin. I have nothing against Roald Dahl, really. I'm just not overly fond of his weird stories. Look at this one. Bring Me Sunshine. A joyous rose whose warmth and positivity emanate through richly filled cupped rosettes of bold yellow-orange, their rich sunset hues pale to apricot tones. Friendly and inviting, each bloom is filled with deeply layered petals, held contentedly within a defined golden chalice setting. A healthy variety, he has a warming, graduated, and complex medium-strong myrrh fragrance. New for 2022, and named after the uplifting musical hit Bring Me Sunshine, we welcome a spirited and vigorous rose, full of warmth and richness in a glorious yellow-orange. Bring Me Sunshine was first recorded by the Mills Brothers in 1968, before it was adopted by the effervescent comedy duo Morecambe and Wise for their second BBC series in 1969. It felt only natural to name such a vivacious rose after the name of such a joyous tune. little bit of history there. Look at these ones. Lady of Shalott. Named after one of Alfred Lord Tennyson's poems, The Lady of Shalott, to commemorate the 200th anniversary of his birth. The poem depicts a tragic tale of desire and solitude. Full of confidence, her blooms embody the intoxicating warm tea fragrance with hints of spiced apple and clove. It's a wonderful fragrance, as unique as the rest of her. The rose is spirited and full of mystery and charm. Her rich orange-red buds open to striking large chalice-shaped blooms, which are filled with loosely arranged orange petals. She may be bold, but she is also graceful. Her outer petals almost salmon pink with enticing golden yellow undersides, giving her depth and complexity. It is quite a complex palette. Look at that. Reds, pinks, orange, and yellow. And on the underside, very pale pink. Lady of Shalott, very nicely, aptly named. And here we have Dame Judi Dench, Poet's Wife, Tranquility, and again the Ancient Mariner. Eustacia Vi. Again, Dame Judi Dench. These are the shady roses for shady spots. Scarborough Fair, Country Parson, Malvern Hills, Lichfield Angel, Mayflower, Mary Delaney, The Loch Ascending, remind you of Vaughan Williams, and Claire Austin. Nye Bevan, English shrub rose, founder of Britain's National Health Service. And we have arts and crafts. I'm not sure if this is referring to the 19th century movement that was similar to, related to the Neo-Gothic and precursor to Art Nouveau and Art Deco, all interrelated, very fascinating. And I think we've talked about that in this study as well, quite a lot with our literature and art. So if you haven't, you should check out our Artists and Illustrators series here in the study. And here we have some English roses. Susan Williams Ellis, Vanessa Bell, and Scarborough Fair. Tottering by Gently, Bring Me Sunshine, and Gertrude Jekyll. And then we have Mary Delaney, an unusual climber with beautifully detailed light pink flowers and dark stems. Named for an English artist and keen gardener known for her botanical drawings and detailed decoupage. They're interspersed with what looks like, not sure if it's dianthus or chives. Very beautiful there. And that is in County Durham. Another trailing rose there. So that one is in Shropshire. Outstanding Outbuildings. And this is the Francis E. Lester Rambling Rose. Boughs of Blossom. Flowering in profusion of dainty blooms held in large trusses, these roses are reminiscent of cherry and apple blossoms, creating a spectacular show of bountiful blooms. Their laden boughs will delight each summer long after the cherry blossom has faded away. Here we have Kew Gardens, Elizabeth, Iceberg, and ballerina. This one's called the Rambling Rector. Guylaine de Féligonde, Félicité Perpétue, and Adelaide d'Orléans. These three to be named after some French figures. This one, Phyllis Bide Rambling Rose, yellows and pinks and whites, and Malvern Hills, named after the beautiful range of Shropshire Hills not far south of the David Austin Roses nursery. And Rose Hedges, the Kew Rambler, and Olivia Rose Austin. And here we have a boxed-in border hedge. And this is the Lichfield Angel. And there's our rambling hedgerow with the rose called Paul's Himalayan Musk. Climbing roses. And this one, will you believe, is called James Galway, named after the flautist, the Irish flautist. And here we have the Lady of the Lake, as Monty Python called her, watery tart, throwing swords at King Arthur. The Albrighton Rambler, Gertrude Jekyll, Wollerton Old Hall, Strawberry Hill, Bathsheba. Be an interesting story behind that one. Malvern Hills, Generous Gardener, and Claire Austin. It's so amazing how each one of these has such unique characteristics all its own. Here we have the Pilgrim and Constance Spry holding hands over the doorway. Little tiles, the roof tiles there, and the paint peeling off of this window pane here. Blooming brickwork. I think anything to disguise dull brickwork is nice, but especially something growing. This is the Generous Gardener, Bobby James, Wollerton Old Hall, and Open Arms. Porches are perfect for petals. Strawberry Hill and James Galway there together, and the Lady of the Lake over top of this doorway. Look at that. Beautiful pink blooms there. Claire Austin. Lovely compact little one there. Named for the daughter of David Austin Sr. and sister of David Austin Jr. And this garden is in Hertfordshire. Emily Bronte with A Happy Bee. With these beautiful blossoms. Olivia Rose Austin, named after the daughter of David Austin Jr. And here we have Encouraging a Healthy Garden, Making a Pollinator Paradise. Roses for a spray-free garden, so getting rid of the parasites. Roald Dahl, The Lark Ascending, Emily Bronte there, and Malvern Hills, Susan Williams Ellis, Tottering by Gently, Eustacia Vi, Olivia Rose Austin, and Princess Anne. Tottering by Gently, named to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Annie Tempest's classic English cartoon, Tottering by Gently, which was first published in Country Life magazine in 1993. The tongue-in-cheek cartoon tells the story of eccentric English aristocrats Dickie and Daffy Tottering, who live at their ancestral home, Tottering Hall, Sounds funny, almost Jeeves and Woosterish, doesn't it? Sort of a PG Woodhouse moment. And the basics of rose care. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And that come to the end. And here are the roses that they're showing that you can send as gifts for birthday, thank you, congratulations, retirement, new baby, new home, Valentine's, wedding and anniversary, or just because. And all of the other things that they include as well: rose food, special organic planting medium, catalogues, calendars, china, candles and soaps, cut roses, and perennials by mail. And there is the David Austin Rose Gardens restaurant and tea rooms. Free to visit daily, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there's our index by color, by where to plant it, and sun and shade. Look at that. All these lovely colors that we've looked at today. The lock ascending with that beautiful peachy plume there. And that is the end of our David Austin Rose Catalogue. I hope you found this nice and relaxing, and you've enjoyed our tea. This lovely rosy white tea. And that you are looking forward to a beautiful night, a lovely day, or quiet afternoon. Wherever, whenever you are, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and as always, be extraordinary.